The Opel Astra is one of those cars that became a rite of passage among Irish drivers when it first arrived here back in 1991, which I know feels like 10 years ago, but is actually more than 30. And much like the Golf and the Focus, it's a car that became a brand in its own right, in that you never even needed to say Opel, it was just the Astra, and that's how you know a car has really made it. You can't help but feel it has slightly fallen off the radar over the last few years with the rise of the crossover. Everybody seems to want an SUV or an EV, or better still, an SUEV. But this latest version of the Astra now has at least one of those boxes ticked with this new electric version. A 53 kilowatt hour battery gives it a range of over 400 kilometres and a starting price of just under €40,000 with current government incentives. So let's see what it has to offer. Before we do, if you enjoy no-nonsense car reviews like this one that get straight to the points that you really want to know about, then don't forget to hit subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest cars to hit the market. I like big boots, but I cannot lie. The Astra E doesn't have one. At 352 litres, it is at the smaller end of the scale when you compare it to some rivals. And that is because of the battery pack underneath. The petrol and diesel versions offer 422 litres. And for context, the Volkswagen ID3, which would be one of its closest rivals in terms of size and price, offers 385 litres. Now I know that doesn't sound like a massive difference, but I happen to know from experience with these type of hatchbacks in particular, that extra 20 or 30 litres makes all the difference when it comes to closing the lid on certain types of buggies or pushchairs. So if you have something like that to cart around, you best off try before you buy. If that's not an issue for you, which it won't be for plenty, well then it's a perfectly usable boot. Plenty of room for the weekly shop, and it's a good practical shape too. So before we talk about the space back here, I think we need to talk about this segment. As I mentioned earlier, dominated by the Golf and the Focus, and at one stage the Astra, in that it could technically work for a smaller family, but it would depend very much on what age and height your kids are. The Astra does okay for legroom back here, but only okay. And if you've got a taller adult in the front, then the legroom back here pretty much disappears. So it's not going to work if you've got taller teenagers back here and taller adults in the front. Likewise, that lack of legroom is going to make it not the best choice for families with very young children who are still in rear-facing car seats, which they can be now up until 6 or 7 years of age. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that your family would need to be at a very particular stage for the space back here to work. Now there is ISOFIX, so plenty of room for high back boosters or infant carriers, but it is also strictly a two-seater because despite being an EV, you still got quite a big lump in the floor here, and that centre console comes back quite far. So they're just a few points on its credentials as a family car, because as I said, it does kind of straddle that line a little bit. On the other hand, if you're a cool young thing and this is your daily driver, and the back seat is only used for giving the odd lift, then I really can't see anybody complaining. It's finished really nicely. You've got nice big windows that let lots of light in for a nice airy feel, and you've even got a USB port for charging gadgets. The interior design of the new Astra is really something special, and much like the exterior design, I think it manages to be modern and cool and bring something a bit different to the table. You'll notice a very strong square theme in here. All the buttons are squared off, as are the screen surrounds. It's all very angular, and I think gives it a very young and trendy vibe, which makes me think that all my car seat chat was completely irrelevant, and that this new Astra is aimed at a very different type of customer. Considering the not insignificant price tag, I think Opel have the dink market firmly in their sights with this one, which is double income, no kids, for those unfamiliar with the phrase. Attention to detail is second to none. You've got some really useful storage areas along the centre console here, including cup holders big enough to fit a Stanley, which the dinks will love, and then my personal favourite, which is this little hidden compartment here, which is just the perfect size to tuck your phone out of sight and out of mind until you finish driving, which of course is what we should all be doing. The infotainment system is excellent. It looks good, never misses a beat, and was totally painless to pair my phone with. It's got wireless CarPlay that actually works and an inbuilt sat-nav system. The Astra E comes well equipped in all its forms. The entry-level SC model gets alloy wheels as standard, as well as this 10-inch colour touchscreen display and digital cockpit and adaptive cruise control. The Elegance adds larger wheels, heated seats and steering wheel and wireless phone charging. And then this top of the range GS model adds those mean looking set of 18-inch alloy wheels, that stylish exterior black pack and dual zone climate control. And that comes in at just under €44,000. The Astra E is powered by a 53 kilowatt-hour battery with a range of up to 416 kilometres. Power output is a healthy 156 HP and it will take you from 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in a little under 5 seconds. Sounds fun, and it is fun for the most part. You've got that super smooth immediate EV power uptake, a nice silent relaxing cabin, and for the most part everything that was great about the original Astra still stands, which was a solid, comfortable and engaging drive. Being an EV, it's already quite silent, but the sound insulation in the cabin is also excellent, which makes for an even more relaxing experience behind the wheel. In terms of efficiency, it's looking really impressive here and staying pretty true to life over a mix of different driving conditions, from motorway speeds to regional roads, and I've been averaging about 13 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, which is seriously impressive and makes that 400 plus kilometre range quoted seem very realistic. The new Opel Astra E makes a strong case for itself in several key areas: the impressive range, onboard technology and head-turning good looks, to name but a few. I think one of the real unique selling points for the Astra E is that it doesn't look too much like an EV at all. So it's not making a huge statement in that regard. It's just a very good looking car that happens to run off electricity. If that sounds like the perfect car for you, you can find your local Opel dealer on CarsIreland.ie. And as always, we welcome your thoughts and comments on the Astra E in the comments section below.